Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Glitch Talk. I'm your host Jerry Tai, and with me as always is Daniel Kelly over here. And today's episode is going to be mostly focused on, as you can see up front, Pokemon X and Y, which is a game that we've been mostly
nerding and obsessing
yeah,
about.
We've been obsessing over for the past couple of days. How far are you into the game right now?
Well, I'm only about 30 hours in between work and life. I've only been able to do that, but for this show, I've managed to get 7 gym badges.
Yeah.
Actually,
well, you're almost done. Anyway.
I'm almost done. I just got one more. The elite. Then I got the Elite Four to do, and whatever other side quests they have for me on the way, and then I can start really EV training my team and get a good team out there.
Yeah. I mean, right now I'm mostly working like 6 days a week, so I kind of need gaming on the go, and then Pokemon's a perfect way to do it. And so far, I put in like 208 hours. This is like.
Well, it's always one of those things where you can pick up and put down, right?
Yeah, I mean, because I've mostly been focusing like just collecting Pokemon, make sure they're the right nature, and just EV train every single one of them, and I gotta level them up all the way up to level 100. So that's taking a long time. But so far, I put together my team together.
You have your team.
My team together.
You found it.
But I'm still kind of training more Pokemon to kind of like substitute.
What I like to do is I like to have a team A, team B, team C, and different kinds of builds for them because that's what's fun about it.
Yeah, because for me it's like I like to have one main team with one main battle strategy, and then I kind of can substitute,
play around with different Pokemon. Because there's all those smaller strategies between the team members itself.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Not just one whole piece.
Yeah. But I got this game a couple weeks, I think 3 weeks ago. I purchased DS just for this game. It was completely worth it.
Pink DS.
I mean, I think that's the thing. I was like with the 3DS. I just kind of with any video game console, I need a game that I'm going to be playing on this
over and over again.
Pokemon was that killer app. Yeah, I mean,
it indoctrinated you into the DS land.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so far you almost completed the game, so I think you have some kind of formative opinion about
I'll always have a form. If I'm not playing Pokemon, I'm watching it online.
Yeah, but I'm saying you played enough of the game to have really kind of solid opinions about it. What did you think of the game? I mean, compared to the past iteration, I would say. Well, I mean, obviously, the graphical upgrades.
Well, that's the most thing, and that was the first thing I was going to point out.
Yeah.
It's the most. We have to mention it first. It's a graphical overhaul. It went from a crane view, 2-dimensional, from Pokemon Platinum and Pokemon White and White 2 to this. It's not really quite 3D as it is like 2.5 D, if that even exists, because you can't really control the camera angles.
No, it's not like an open world and you can control the camera 360 degrees. It's mostly like there's still kind of slightly overview, kind of like a bird's eye view.
The only real camera angles control that you have, I find, is when you're in Limino City, but it's also very choppy and you move.
The camera moves with your movement.
Exactly, so that's only kind of. But the environment is so much more beautiful. It's so much more flowing.
Yeah.
I definitely one of the best things about the game is the environment and the graphical overhaul.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same gameplay, so it doesn't really take away much from that previous experience. If you're new to Pokemon, you're gonna have fun, and if you're old and if you're old to Pokemon,
if you're a long-time fan
like
of the franchise, we've been playing 15 years. I mean, Pokemon was really popular in the late 90s, right? I was probably 10 years old. Yeah, I'm now 25, so that's more than 15 years already. Yeah. Yeah,
and old fans are going to love it. They're also going to love all the new stuff they added for people who they thought would probably outgrow Pokemon franchise, because they want to keep that fan base.
Yeah.
Because if they lose that, they probably lost a lot of people anyway.
The fundamental gameplay is still
the same.
Exactly the same.
Core same mechanics.
Yeah, that hasn't changed.
Plus fairies.
I mean, that hasn't. Yeah, I mean, other than a brand new type, but that hasn't changed at all. It's just kind of like the rock paper scissors.
You can just go right into it.
Gameplay. Yeah, exactly. But what I feel is that compared to the past iteration, this is definitely the quickest way to say it. It's definitely the easiest Pokemon game to date. It's because it's the most streamlined.
I found I had a good time.
It's a good
really
time.
Simple time. I mean, I was able to pick it up and pretty much almost. If I had a couple more hours, I could have beat it before this show.
Yeah.
But I didn't, and it was that just kind of show you the measure of how easy it is compared to Pokemon Black. That took me quite a few hours to beat it because there's so much to do.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like I said, it's the most streamlined. For example, you get a roller skates at the beginning of the game, whereas compared to past, at least Red and Blue, where you get a bike.
You have to
one quarter way through the game, which Yeah, so that's
You had
so,
to earn it. You had to work for it. You had to actually capture and fight Pokemon.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like I believe you had to trade items to get a bike or something.
Yeah, well, they gave you a voucher, and what you
Yeah.
had to. I know in Pokemon Silver and Gold, you had to actually ride the bike and advertise it before he called you.
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
not. I can't.
exactly.
It's been a while since I played Red or Heart Red, Fire Red.
Yeah.
So I can't actually recall what you had to do.
I can't really remember much of it.
But I know you got a bike, and I know you didn't get it right away.
Yeah.
It's as if they're saying this game is so fun. You know, we just want you to have a fun experience. We're just gonna give you all the cool stuff right at the beginning, because not only do they give you the roller skates and pretty much the bike right away, they also give you the EXP share, which
EXP
totally
share.
changes the dynamic of.
It changes the pace of the game, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because in the past Pokemon games, or pretty much in any other RPGs, out where I would spend a couple hours just level grinding my team. This, you pretty much don't need to do that. I mean, I was kind of in that mentality at the beginning of the game. I mean,
Because that's what you're prepared for.
Yeah, I caught a new Pokemon. Okay, I got to spend a couple hours, grinding it in grass patches. But no, it's like you can pretty much get through the game
without even taking your Pokemon out of your party.
Yeah, exactly. Without taking a Pokemon out of the party and just battle a whole bunch of trainers and just evenly spread out the experience.
That's kind of what
points.
makes it easy as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, is that what you were talking about earlier? It's so convenient though, because I don't want to do that.
And for me, it's like it's a game. It's a much Pokemon X and Y. Like it's a much faster paced game. It's also a game that constantly rewards you, right?
Yes, actually. Not only
it
does
kind of speeds things up a little bit.
It does speed you, gives you all these things, but if you notice, if you talk to anybody in that game, every section I can get a TM. I find that every area I talk to somebody, I get something.
Yeah, you get an item, you get Pokeballs, you get antidotes, or you get.
It's like positively reinforcing you for playing the game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah. So it's a game that constantly rewards you. It's a much faster paced game. Which I feel, as an old school Pokemon fan, I definitely miss the more arduous aspect of that
grinding.
game. Of grinding, yeah. But at the same time, and it kind of fits very well as a portable game as well, because you don't have that much
to really
time.
Get invested.
Really to invest a large chunk of your time on portable game. It's like it's gaming on the go. It's constantly reward you. It's like you always get something out of it.
Every time you progress, it's as if the game does know, because every time there's only kind of a structure to it. You beat the gym, or before you beat the gym, you have to go beat this mini thing in the previous town. And everywhere you're gonna get a Pokeball, you're gonna get potions, you're gonna get TMs, you're gonna get stones. I love it. I love getting rewarded, and I love getting rewarded by this game, by Game Freak.
Yeah, exactly. And also another thing that makes the games a little bit easier this time around, you get 2 elemental starters at the beginning. So you get the new generation starters, and then I think it was after the first gym. After the first gym, you get the first generation starters: Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur.
Which made probably a bunch of people jump up in their seats.
That's definitely one of the biggest selling points. It's like, oh my god, I get to
But they didn't really sell it. I remember when they were advertising.
They did. Yeah, they had a trailer just specifically. I believe so. I mean,
well, I never saw it.
You never saw it. Okay.
I never saw it. I don't want to say that it wasn't out there.
So one of the benefit of that is, let's say, because I chose a water starter.
Type advantage. You got to choose type advantage at the beginning.
Because in the past Pokemon games, it's mostly like, let's say I get a water starter at the beginning. It's hard to find. What's the word for it?
It's
hard to find a useful grass type or a fire type something that can balance your team out at the near the beginning of the game.
Do you think that the producers, I guess the developers realize that, and that's something that kind of
maybe
threw in there?
Yeah, because in the past Pokemon games, like in the beginning, you mostly get like flying types, normal types, bug types, and,
really lesser type Pokemon.
You want to get the foundation of your team figured out already, and you got water, fire, and grass, right? Yeah, so you get a first generation, you get a new generation starter, then a first generation starter, and also another thing that makes the game easier is some of the more rare Pokemons in the past Pokemon games
are common.
Sorry, excuse me. Are more common.
I literally took it out of your mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Are more common in this game. For example,
Eevees.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a field of Eevees. I thought it was a mistake, or I thought it was a really rare thing, but then I ran into like 2 more Eevees in the.
Did you get a lot of Eevees? Because
I was drilling Eevees. I was like, I'm gonna have a Jolteon, I'm gonna have a Vaporeon.
Yeah.
I was just all the
ideas. From what I heard, there's actually more Eevees in the Y version compared to the X version. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know if that's true.
Leave the comments down below, but but I found plenty in the
Do you
field.
feel that that takes away, especially how Eevee is actually such a fan favorite, how you can evolve it in different ways. Do you
Yeah.
feel that it's kind of a cop-out that they've made it a wild Pokemon instead of a rare? Because sometimes...
cop out.
A cop-out is in, now you can just go out and catch one, whereas before you got one and
it's
you
less
had to
rare.
breed it.
Yeah.
So now you can just, I don't know, I personally, while it's a cool idea,
Yeah.
and I was drooling over the fact that there's so many Eevees, I can't help but feel like,
Well, now
maybe-
there's so many Eevee evolutions. I kind of feel like just
They
collecting
have
them
to.
all. It's kind of a task.
Well, there's what
it's
now,
kind of a
seven,
side quest. And
7 or 8 now?
let me see if I can get all of this down. There's, I don't remember the names, but Jolteon, Vaporeon, Flareon, Umbreon, Espeon.
Yeah.
Espeon. What's that one?
Leafeon.
Leafeon. Leafeon, and Sylveon, right?
So there's 8 now.
So there's 8, yeah. So it's just even collecting all of them is quite a bit
You
of
know
a
what's
task.
the next one? Dragon Eevee. Badass.
Yeah, I wanted I want a steel type.
Oh, we're fighting. You
With
know what?
the
Just all
helmets or
types.
something?
Eevees are just going to eventually spread out into all types.
I think they will, yeah.
It's just inevitable.
Oh, quick question. Favorite type of Eevee?
I'll tell you my least favorite type of Eevee.
Okay, what is it?
Glaceon and Leafeon. I do not like them. I don't like their stats. I don't.
Sylveon looks really stupid to me. I'm sorry, that bolt.
Sylveon could look stupid, but is
pink
Sylveon
type.
a good?
It's a powerful.
It's a powerful type. I would rather.
I don't
guess
know. I think
Vaporeon.
Umbreon is a.
Vaporeon or Jolteon.
No, I think Umbreon is the weakest. I think it has the weakest attacks for sure. I think so.
The best Jolteon.
I mean, what's the strongest dark attack? I think the only one I can think of is Crunch.
I was thinking Crunch.
Yeah, Crunch or Sucker Punch. But Sucker Punch, you kind of need the opponents to attack.
Anyway,
at the same time.
that's a little too much digressing for
Yeah.
Eevees, but that's one of the cool things is you can find tons of Eevees
Mm-hmm.
in X and Y.
Yeah, I mean, what's your favorite type of Eevee evolution? Mine's Vaporeon.
Mine would be okay,
Vaporeon.
Vaporeon. Yeah,
Vaporeon.
I don't like Flareon. I don't like. I like a certain build of Jolteon, which I'm not going to share with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely Vaporeon has the best defense, best build that I can think
I
of.
think Vaporeon has the highest special attack and
Oh well,
best-
the way I
highest
build
HP.
it. Well,
Yeah.
that's probably true, but I have
Yeah.
a certain build in mind.
Yeah.
It doesn't revolve around HP or. I want to leave my friend code down below so you guys can just add us and maybe we'll.
No, we're done. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Um,
And we'll put it down below in the link description so you can just add us and battle us.
and
We'll kick your butt. Well, Jerry will kick your butt. I'm not sure about
I
myself.
kicked his before this show started. But, yeah, so we were mentioning about we were talking about EV trainings before, and that's definitely again one of those.
Well, they've changed the way it's
Gameplay
been
mechanics,
done.
yeah.
Before, it was kind of like a background thing where if you didn't know about EV training by, let's say, the internet or word of mouth, you didn't know about it. So I don't know if a lot of kids in the younger generation who are growing up on Pokemon X and Pokemon White, I don't know if they know about EV training, but now they definitely do because of the super training program or super training feature on this game.
Yeah.
Which I think is so much fun, but it confused me because I didn't know whether if you battle a wild Pokemon, if you got that EV stat and
You still get
It's
so you
stats.
get. There's multiple ways.
So it's
there's
stats.
2 ways to get EVs. Still, the old-fashioned way is just battling wild Pokemon.
yes.
And the other way, now they're making mini games out of it. It's kind of it's like
Kinda
a soccer.
fun.
It's fun. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely much faster than in the past where you had to chain up a whole bunch of.
It's like
the
they've taken
same
away
Pokemons.
grinding. They
they took
realized
away
grinding. People didn't enjoy the grind. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Definitely the fastest way is you use you catch an Oddish and you use its ability Sweet Sense and you just automatically trigger a Horde battle. And you just equip the Pokemon with whatever equipments that you want to max its stats out. I mean, sorry. How do I word this? Okay, so let's say you got a Pokemon you want to max out its speed stats. So you first equip a one of those power bracelet equipments or whatever.
Yeah.
That will max out the speed stat. You let the the Pokemon equip that equipment. Oh man, it's so wordy.
And then
so
you run into a Pikachu.
you trigger you use Sweet Sense to trigger the Horde battle, and you get like 5 Wingulls at the same time
Okay.
to rack up your speed EVs. And then add that with a Pokerest. You just like pretty much after 6 Horde battles, you can just max out 1 stats already.
And it actually shows you a visual. There's an actual bar
Yeah. which is really helpful. Yeah, that's definitely very helpful.
Well, I got kind of sad. I kind of want to use a reset bag and
because in the past there's kind of like this imaginary threshold that you don't know
if you've reached it or
not. You reach it or not, so you just keep on going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's super useful. It makes it more interactive for the player to really, become Pokemon master.
I think what makes this, and definitely makes the competitive multiplayer more accessible for the newcomers. Where, before it doesn't have these gameplay EV gameplay features or whatever. So for people who are just new to Pokemon,
they could just really jump into
you'll pretty much get slaughtered right away. For people who knows about the benefits of EV training, but now EV training is much more accessible. Everyone can.
Well, I only learned about EV training in Pokemon White.
I don't even know which version it is.
Well, it was in there.
It was definitely there for
one.
Ruby, right?
It was there for Ruby, but it was in it. It wasn't a big thing in Pokemon Red and White. Red and Blue. I hear.
Red and Blue for like the very first.
It was there.
Yeah.
But I think it became a bigger thing in Pokemon Gold and Silver, and then it became in Platinum. I think it became a real thing, like real.
Gold and Silver. That's when they also introduced like the whole breeding, mechanics as well. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, they also introduced in Pokemon X and Y the Mega Evolutions. How did you feel about that?
It doesn't add anything to the game, but it doesn't really hurt.
Well, what is Mega Evolution?
You get this crazy flashy animation, and you just temporarily boost the stats of your Pokemon.
And it gets a makeover. It gets a temporary makeover too.
And some Pokemon will change types.
It's almost like Digimon.
Exactly. Yeah. But it also allows the Pokemon to change types.
In certain cases.
In certain cases, yeah, not all of them. I don't necessarily think it adds, like, it doesn't really.
Does it take away more than it gives?
It doesn't take away anything. It doesn't. I mean, it adds a little. I mean, it looks super cool. I'll do it just to watch the animation. It's
kind of needless for me personally, and I feel like now they've created it. It's there, and now it's gonna be in every game from here on.
Well, the thing is, like, there's no like some kind of mega evolution meter you got build up to, right? It's like you can use it in every single battle. The only downside to Mega Evolution is you can only use it on one Pokemon per battle.
But that's kind of fair, because I mean, then they would have on the online section no Mega Pokemon or Mega Evolution
Mega Gengar, Mega Charizard.
You just have a whole Mega team, a Mega Legendary team.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like overkill.
Yeah, it doesn't really add anything. So like I said, it doesn't. The game doesn't force you to fill up some kind of meter before, and then you can Mega Evolutionize. It's gonna be,
It would have been cool though.
Yeah. Doesn't, like I said, it doesn't really add anything or take away anything. It's just, I wish there's definitely more depth to it, or at least, add some kind of penalty system if you use a Mega Evolution, because it's almost kind of like a last straw cop out move. Right?
Yeah.
If
it's your last Pokemon.
If your last Pokemon, you're desperate. I don't know.
I've definitely used it in that situation.
Make them cut down like the experience points that you get. If you use a Mega Evolution, and yes, you get temporary boost stats. You can your Pokemon becomes super powerful, but
you're gonna have to sacrifice something in exchange.
You have to sacrifice in exchange, exactly.
It's just like now I'm more powerful.
Yeah.
I find that's a constant theme in this game. Is they don't go out and say directly that you're the chosen one, but you're like you're the most powerful one. You are the one with the best spawn with the Pokemon. Yeah. You're the one who can wield Mega Evolution. You are the guy. That we want in this game. That's why.
Although sometimes like some of the characters in there that have like multiple Mega Stone items for each someone
for something so rare. Like how did you find that?
Exactly. But logic is not. I'm not exactly.
It's not the game's forte, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then another big thing that's great about Pokemon X and Y is the multiplayer. Whereas before, I mean, online multiplayer was introduced back in Pearl and Ruby, right?
Oh, don't hold me to that.
I don't know if Platinum is the upgraded version. But
well, I know you can do it in Silver and Gold. I know you can do that.
Yeah, but anyway, they introduced online multiplayer back then. Do you want to sit a bit closer? I think
I'm just like, you're talking about things I don't.
I'm trying to communicate between you. It's like, just come in a little closer and write a note on there. It's like, no, I'm just gonna straight up do it. So
it's like,
so what was I saying? Yeah, so online multiplayer was introduced back then. I remember if you want to battle someone online, you have to go to a battle.
You had to go to a Pokemon Center at the beginning, actually. And they actually always had multiplayer, but
well, there's multiple places. I remember there's a battle tower or something you have to go to.
Well, this is newer. Do you remember you actually had to have the infrared and the Game Boy Color?
No, I mean like online. I'm talking about specifically online
internet introduced.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually I don't know if they introduced it back then. I know
I
they
think
had
it was
in-
Ruby. I think it was Platinum, and then that generation of Pokemon game. But I remember, I think you had to go to a battle tower or something. There's only one place where you can access like online components of the game.
kind of restricting.
It's restricting.
And they removed
yeah,
that.
for sure.
They removed it
They removed it. Yeah, you can just you can access it at the bottom of your screen.
right here.
You know.
Press this button
So
here
that's
and
great.
shuffle.
Yeah, I mean, I think back then it's the same thing for trading as well. There's only a very specific place you can go to trade online, you know, with other players. Yeah. So now it's like everything, you can access all the multiplayer components.
It's all on your main menu right
You
here.
know, on your main menu. Yeah, exactly.
And there's actually have you wonder traded with anybody yet?
Yes, I have.
Really, I haven't done it yet, but
Yeah,
I'm afraid of
you
getting a
always
bunch
get
of.
you always get shitty Pokemon, but sometimes I like to be nice and have like multiple Togepi's or something like.
Just
just
standing by.
And it's like, you know what, I'm gonna be a nice guy. I'm, just
See,
gonna
I'm afraid of
stand
getting
out.
like tons of Bidoofs or something like that.
I think Bidoof. Yeah, exactly.
Because I would do that. I would give my shittiest Pokemon in exchange for.
Yeah.
A shitty
Well,
Pokemon.
hopefully you get something in return that you don't. That's not recorded on your Pokédex. At least I want that.
That's at
yeah.
least.
Yeah.
But I want the gratification of getting a really good Pokemon from a kid who doesn't know any better.
Yeah, but even like the not Wonder Trade, but like the Global Trade Center system, whatever. Yeah, it's been pretty good. I mean, I get pretty much all the Pokemon that I wanted from that. So
Well, let's talk about the passerby system since we're talking about the online. How it would be easier if...
Okay, that's one thing.
Stop
Okay,
me.
no, that's one thing I don't understand. What's a passerby?
Passerby is, I think, a friend or someone who's on your spot pass. I haven't figured it out yet.
I'm trying to take a guess here, but like, depending on the location of the game that you're in, is it like all the players that are online in the same locations as you are?
I think that's...
I think that's what it means,
Because
right?
I was in Lumiose. Oh, I can't remember. Luminos City?
Yeah.
And there's... what was it? Not an acquaintance, it was a passerby. And I
Yeah.
didn't interact with them or anything, but I just noticed that I didn't know who they were. They weren't on my friends list.
Yeah.
But now, if I have somebody who's on my friends list, they go onto there. But
I
what's an
thought-
acquaintance?
At first, I seriously thought at first it was like all the players near my area. I was like, holy shit, there's a lot
lot
of
of
South
people-
Koreans in my area. Yeah.
Well, Pokemon's actually... There's a lot of people playing Pokemon in Vancouver.
That's true. Yeah.
A lot of people on my street passes, they've been playing
You live in
Pokemon
downtown
X.
Vancouver, though.
Yeah.
So that's definitely get. Oh my god, yeah.
Actually, I wish I could show you how many people are still on my Plaza Gate. I have about 110 people in my Plaza Gate.
So let's just jump straight into it then. What did we like about the game? And so far, we talked about it, and so what we both agreed on is that it's not so much the game itself, it's more of the limitation of the 3DS hardware and Nintendo's online service, right?
Yeah, because there's not much of this game that I didn't like.
Like,
It's very
limited-
reminiscent of an old game with new graphics, and it's very much a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
change
It's
any of the
not,
core.
It's not really the game's fault. It's mostly like the limitations of, like I said, limitations of the hardware that kind of dragging down the potential.
Well, if we need to be finicky and find something that we didn't like about it, it would definitely be the friend code.
Okay. First of all, friend code thing, it's definitely very hard to add friends. Let's say you're on other like Xbox, or like you're on a Sony console or a Microsoft console, where how it works is you add someone on your friend list, and then you automatically will send an invitation to the other player, and the other player will either accept or decline your invitation. If they choose to accept, they will just automatically add you on friends, and both of your accounts will sync up. But no, not Nintendo. Apparently, both of you have to know each other, or at least you have to know my friend code. I have to know your friend code. We both have to add each other.
But isn't that very child safe for Nintendo to do?
It is. It is. Like, they're keeping up with their family friendly image, right? But
It makes it so hard to get, for instance, this area in.
But the thing is, that with Pokemon, it's a large component of that experience is the multiplayer. It's the community. It's about trading. It's about battling. And yet you put on this, like, Nintendo is just refusing to grow up. I mean, they're growing up gradually, one baby step at a time. But it's just frustrating. I mean, yes, you can battle with passerbys.
But you wouldn't want to do that.
But you can't still you can't really add them.
Would you want like let's say you are fully online connected to this. Would you want to see their sprite moving around too on your screen live?
No, not hard to make like the game really super
online MMORPG
I think
Pokemon.
I kind of like that online experience though. Like even though it's still a single player driven experience, but there's like kind of like entity out there like in a multiplayer community something that's much larger than your
Yourself.
own game universe, right? It's kind of the same thing they did it with Dark and Demon Souls, which is fantastic. I mean, for me, it's like I'm not a big fan of multiplayer. I don't want to deal with douchebags online. But you get the sense that there are people out there that are playing the same games you are, that are in the same, sharing the same moments,
Mindset,
and you get that kind of experience. You can choose to interact with them if you
want.
If you want, yeah. But like I said, Nintendo, they're
Exactly.
yeah.
But one of the things actually I didn't like about it, and it's kind of simple, it's how it's kind of like a trademark, the fire, water, grass starters.
Yeah.
Something I want to do is just shake it up. Just, have a poison, have a fighter, have a steel starter.
Because both three elements, they have to balance out each other, right?
I understand that, but I'm just saying for fanfare, I'm tired of, there's been so many games where it's been grass, fire, water, grass, fire, water, grass, fire, water,
I
grass,
think that's
water.
tradition of a Pokemon game. Like, I'll never want to change. Like, just stick with
You
the three
would
main
not
elemental
want to start the
types.
game with a different type? Wouldn't add
If
a
you give me a
different...
dragon, I'll say yes. It's like,
Well, we're not going to give you a dragon.
Yeah, exactly. Then there's nothing to talk about there.
Well, we'll give you a fairy.
Okay, that's another thing. We'll talk about that later. But we're kind of going like off tangent here. Okay, so going back to the multiplayer. So we mentioned the limitation of the hardware, and another thing is in terms of online social interactions, it's also very limited.
It's hard to chat and communicate.
I know you can chat during online battles. I have yet to try that yet. Although I don't know that I want to really talk with strangers because I do swear a lot if I'm losing. So exactly. And probably kids on the other side. It's like, okay, no, probably not. But for example, during trading, it's very hard to communicate what Pokemon you want and what Pokemon you don't want. So it's kind of like you're just clicking on random Pokemon. So hopefully,
no. I'll bring that one back.
The only way the other player how they can interact with you is they cancel the trade. They say that that's the Pokemon they don't want. But it's like,
it's much better in Pokemon Black and White. At least you had the smiley face, the heart, and the frown.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's some of the biggest gripes I have with the game. Some of the minor complaints are, okay, it's not so much a complaint. I think it's just my stubborn, old school fanboy personality. Yeah, exactly. Not a huge fan of fairy Pokemons. They all look really weird to me. I think it's just there to balance out the elemental gameplay where it was just like it was all about dragons, right? Dragon's the strongest type, but now they're kind of balancing something else. Dragon.
Well, now all the types are pretty much balanced, and now you really have to play smart.
Yeah.
Now you just gotta really.
I'm sorry, it doesn't make any sense to me. Why can my Mega Charizard X can't take out a Jigglypuff? It just makes no freaking sense to me. Like, a Jigglypuff.
Well, cuteness beats ferocity.
Yeah, well, maybe.
It's recorded in history somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stupid complaint, but now I'm kind of getting used to it.
They're actually quite useful. Their movesets.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like them. Their cuteness just.
Sylveon just looks stupid. I'm sorry,
but having bow ties for ears.
There's a whole bunch of bow ties, like ribbons, like flowing everywhere. Yeah.
I just wonder what kind of. Anyway, I do not want to. Thank you for making another Pokemon game.
Exactly.
I will be here when the next one comes out.
And another thing we both agreed on that we didn't like is the layout of the Luminous city.
The center city of the whole continent, I suppose, or region, is just super hard to
I don't think I would complain that much if they have a fucking map at the bottom.
A better
of the
map,
screen.
you mean? Because they have this like half. They have a circle, and if you're in one part, it's highlighted half, and if you're in the other part, so you could just keep on going in circles forever.
But that's not a map. That's just telling you which part of the city you're.
It's kind of a map.
No, but it's like the city itself is so huge. It's like the map with the quote unquote map will tell you, oh, now you're at the bottom parts, you're at the south parts of a city. But the city itself is so freaking huge. Like, show me an icon to see where I'm going. I'm always getting lost, and all the environments, almost all look the same. There's multiple cafes, but
multiple cafes is built on cafes.
Yeah, the only way to differentiate them is like the color of the signs or whatever but everything else is looks the same.
I don't even think that.
I'm constantly lost.
I try and avoid that town as much as possible.
I just take a taxi.
Yeah, I take a taxi.
I would rather just spend my fucking money, to be honest.
It's quite expensive actually.
Yeah, it saves a lot of headaches, to be honest. But Luminous City.
Big thumbs down.
Yeah, no, and you can't control the camera, like I said. Since the city is so big, and obviously one it requires some exploration, and the fact that like a very restricting camera really drags down the whole experience, right? That was definitely one of the parts that can really slows down for me. What else do we like about story? I mean,
well, the story of Pokemon. Okay, so Pokemon Black and White 1 and 2 were pretty much about the morality of owning Pokemon and how it would, it's basically the morals about it, and that it was really plot heavy in Pokemon White and Black. But in this one, it's kind of obnoxious. It's an obnoxious plot. It's about beauty, power, and genocide.
I just got a genocide part. I didn't even get into it.
Well, I mean, all the members of Team Flare are vain.
Well, major spoiler alerts, but what's the new team? The Team Flare.
Team Flare.
Whatever they're called.
Team Rocket.
Team Rocket is still the best, but yeah, Team Flare. They want us to take over the world, destroy the world because humans are taking over just taking over all the resources and stuff like that. So that's just
I'm pretty sure it's a little more in depth if we give meaning to it.
No, there's. Well, that's the thing, because this Pokemon has always been a kids-oriented game.
But the generation that they made it is grown up, and they need something more.
It's like, for me, that contrast doesn't work for me. It's so kid-oriented, and you try to say something, not say, like,
give a message.
It's not a social commentary by any means. Well, I mean, maybe it tries to be something a little bit more than that, but for me, it just feels miserably. I mean, the story's so bad.
Well, you have to keep in mind, the demographic hasn't changed.
Yeah.
They're still making it for those young kids.
But for me, it's like, it drags down the whole experience. Like, I don't care. Like, but
they have to put something there. I mean, if you can't just play Pokemon anymore to be the very best. It's been done before. Ash is the
I don't mind
best.
that if it's the same story over and over again, but the fact that if you don't do it well...
Well, then you're just playing Call of Duty.
Huh?
Over and over again.
Well, hey, that's making millions of dollars, obviously.
So is Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care.
But I'm just saying, I want something with substance. That's all.
But like, it's just
even if it is Pokemon.
Yeah, but it's lacking so much subtlety to the point where it's just super distracting for me. It's really just over the top, and
I must admit that most of the time I do skip the dialogue because it's
I don't remember very much of dialogue. I just
only when it's with main characters.
I just remember like the Goku guy. It's like, oh, I hate the world. I'm just gonna kill everybody. Whatever.
These are not important.
Okay, so click, blah blah blah. I don't care.
Actually, I thought he was the Pokemon champion, but
yeah.
Apparently he's not. I'm not gonna tell you who because I don't know.
I don't really care. It's like, for me, it's all about like just battles and collecting Pokemon. Don't try to jam the story doesn't really fit with the universe.
Are you one of those gamers where story only matters?
No, I don't think Pokemon is a game that I really care. I don't go into a Pokemon game expecting a good story out of it.
Why not?
Well, why not? That's.
I really enjoyed the story of Pokemon Black and White.
I don't remember anything about it. So that's how.
It was super good. You should go back and play it.
No, there are much better game stories out there. Pokemon, it's not a game.
You can't put Pokemon up to other games.
It's not a game that's where the story is the strongest aspect. It's never been the series has never.
Can't it evolve to do that though? That's all I'm saying.
Sure, but you gotta do it well. Not.
Well, they did it well in Pokemon Black and White. They didn't do it too well in this one.
You're setting a high bar for yourself. You better reach it.
I'm gonna be disappointed in the next Pokemon game.
I don't know.
Do you want to see more Pokemon? Do you want
of course I
the
want to see
list
more
to
Pokemon.
always?
But I don't care. Just give me.
There's so much to keep track of.
Just give me, just give me the same old Pokemons and give me the new ones, and I'll just keep playing them. I'll just keep collecting them.
No, eventually.
No puns intended.
You know what? Yeah. It would have been nice if there was this whole secret plot where Pokemon X is the beginning, where there's so many Pokemon, and you work your way back down.
If we want to talk about something really serious,
you just cut me off, and now my idea's gone.
No, okay, yeah. You want to talk about something serious? At least do it well. Try to have the dialogue is just so bad.
It's childish.
It's written by a 5-year-old. It's like laughably bad. Yeah. It's super distracting. It's like click, skip. I don't want to listen to anything else.
I don't even know if kids read those. I never read them as a kid either, actually, because it's boring. It's not.
Yeah,
even
exactly.
for kids, it's not for it.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe there's a voiceover. People will pay attention more. But I think I was literally laughing my ass off. I feel bad for the actors who are hired to read those writings. Oh my god! I hope they better paid well.
They probably paid well.
Yeah.
But anyone who's working on this is getting paid well. Well, I think we pretty much covered a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah, so that's pretty much our thoughts on Pokemon X and Y.
Yeah, if you guys have anything to add about Pokemon or anything we've said, you can always leave us a message downstairs.
Is this your favorite Pokemon game so far?
No, my favorite Pokemon game is always going to be Gold.
Was it just because the older generation Pokemon?
Well, it wasn't
you're
just
really
so much the
fond
older
of?
generation. It just I did like the type of Pokemon. I did
Yeah.
like I don't even know the story. The story focused around Suicune, but it was just
I think
it's
feel like
nostalgic
yeah,
for me.
Nostalgic,
That's
yeah.
It was the
It's
first
clouding your
Pokemon I
judgment.
got. It's clouding my judgment. I even went so far as to rebuy when Heart Gold came out because I loved it so much. I wanted to
Yeah.
play with the better graphics.
Oh,
After that,
right,
it would
the one came on
probably
DS, right?
it would probably have to be red or blue afterwards,
Yeah.
and then white. What about you? What's your favorite Pokemon game within this franchise?
I never had a Game Boy, so I never played Pokemon Red and Blue until it was like what? Until like the Game Boy Advance era.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I played it on on the emulator on my PC.
Oh yeah, but you can't trade.
You can't trade. I know it's so shitty. Like you can't involve your Kadabra or your.
You're just stuck with
Hunter.
these.
I know exactly. These like you know.
There's no point in
second
playing
level.
it on an emulator.
Yeah, but what was some of my favorites? I know like the Platinum generation. The is it Pearl and Ruby? Okay. I have to look this up, but that's when they first introduced the online components, right? And I remember I just had so much fun because that was around
2004.
2006 or 7. Because I remember specifically that was my first year in college, and I just played a lot of Pokemon.
That's why you became that guy.
That's the game I was playing. You know, I remember I was playing Pokemon during lectures and stuff throughout lecture. My friend and I would bring DSs and we just play Pokemons together.
Do you sit in the back of the room?
Yeah, we sit back in the room. We just kind of like slouching in my seats like this.
Or paying
like,
attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Infrared.
Oh, and by the way, that was back when before the iPhone became a hit. So this was way before iMessage or BBM or any of the kind of stuff. So because back in the days we still have to pay. Do you remember pay like a number of cents for each text? Do you still remember that?
I still remember that.
I remember that.
The days aren't far gone.
Yeah, exactly. So we did have cell phones, but we were college students, so we were way too poor. So what my friends and I did was we all brought our DSs, we sit in lecture, and we just started quote unquote texting each other or drawing a picture. So all of us would just log on Pixel chats, and we just texting each other through that.
That's pretty
It's
cool.
hilarious. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
You always rely on a DS to keep you
So anyway,
entertained in class.
we're just doing just texting each other on Pixel chats and playing Pokemon during lectures, and then we would go home, and then we can log online, and then and then I think at that point, I think those games did have a voice chat as well. So my friends and I would
chat over the DS.
But like
it wasn't a DS.
but that was back then, the DS, like it was. I got the old like the tank.
Oh
DS.
yeah.
It's
the
not,
SP.
Yeah, exactly. Not exactly the greatest hardware because it just really lags, and you add voice chat during online multiplayer. It's just really tank. But yeah, that was super fun. That was super memorable. I think for the novelty of it, you have a portable device, you can log online and you can chat with your friends. That kind of has a novelty to it.
But your favorite Pokemon game, not Pokemon.
I wouldn't say that's my favorite Pokemon game, like the Platinum generation, but it was definitely like some of the most memorable, just for like what was happening at that point in my life, what was using the.
So that's
the
one
DS.
that just stands out the most. When
Stands
that
out the
question
most.
comes
It's not necessarily my favorite game in terms of gameplay or the story.
Well, can you even really have a favorite Pokemon? I mean, I guess like a Pokemon
it's
game.
the same Pokemon game again and again and again, right?
Just different maps and different.
I have to say though, Black and White, they definitely have. It's
up the ante.
no, it's my least favorite group.
Oh,
No,
a group of Pokemon.
My least favorite design of Pokemon.
I would agree.
Yeah, I mean each generation they do have your hits. They do have.
I think
their strongest-
this generation
It's
here
not so bad, it's not.
was pretty cool. I think it's pretty regular.
yeah, probably like the
considering
third strongest for me. I mean,
One,
the first
two.
one, the first will also be the first generation.
first two, I say.
So the first generation will be obviously the top group of Pokemon for me. The first 150, and then the second one will be
Number two for me.
Gold and Silver.
Yeah.
Gold and Silver is pretty fantastic. Yeah,
It was a great follow-up.
Yeah, exactly. And then I would say this generation, X and Y, it's probably like my third favorite group of Pokemons, in terms of design and the look-wise.
Minus two of them, but
Mine is something like, there's some like fairy Pokemon, there's like cotton candy Pokemon. It looks so freaking stupid. We both disagree on the what's it? I forgot what's the Pokemon name is called, but the one with the shield and the
Oh
sword.
yeah,
I thought it was pretty cool. I, thought it was
I did
super
not
cool.
like that one, and I didn't like the keychain. I don't like
The keychain looks stupid. Yeah.
I don't like inanimate objects as Pokemon.
Okay, well we were just arguing about this before. The first generation has like like inanimate object as well. What's the Voltorb? What's the
Voltorb is a
Magnemite?
ball of energy.
What's a Magnemite then? That's a magnet.
It is a magnet.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, whatever. I don't
Okay,
like them.
fine.
I don't like Rotom because
Yeah.
he's a lawnmower and a
Yeah.
grocery cart or whatever.
Yeah.
Or chandelier.
Def-
or a candle. What's a candle?
That's yeah.
Pokemon Black and White. Do you like just pull things out of a hat and a candle? Oh, a chandelier.
I feel like with this generation, they definitely went back. Okay,
They go back to the roots. I find.
we need a different kind of bat, so that's.
Well, yeah,
that's
we did
getting
a different. We need a different kind of
We did- we
Pikachu,
did
a different kind of Growlithe, a different kind. That's a good observation.
And then we
actually.
can need a different kind of PG, which is this is the one with the Firebird. I forgot what's the name called. I still. Yeah, I don't really remember much of Pokemon's name after the second generation.
Anyway, I definitely recommend that people go out and get this Pokemon game. Add us with our friend codes down below.
You know what's a good way to add friend code on it? See, this is one of those the faults of Nintendo online system. Take a picture of your friend code, post it on Instagram, and hashtag with the proper hashtags. I swear, people will add you like crazy.
Well, how many did you get when you?
I got a total so far of 50-something friends on there, so it's definitely a lot.
I got a pitiful 3.
I definitely got a lot of Safari Zones. It's definitely helps when I'm collecting Pokemons, but yeah. By the way, I also have younger siblings who has his own copy of the Pokemon game, so it definitely helps, to collecting Pokemon, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so before we wrap this episode up, any kind of favorites Pokemon moments? It's like game, anime, card games, or
Well,
anything.
they are actually. I don't know if you guys heard, and I don't know if it's out, but they're rebooting the Pokemon TV show with Red
which
and
I've
Blue.
yet to see. Yeah, which I've yet to
And
see.
I
can't really comment
so
on it
excited
yet.
to
Yeah.
see it whenever it's translated into English. That's my
It's-
favorite
it's on-
Pokemon moment recently.
I know.
And the Pokemon rap, that is a classic.
Yeah.
That is a classic. What about you?
Oh, there's so many though. I can just name a few. I remember back in Pokemon Red and Blue, there's this specific dungeon where you can capture Mewtwo.
Oh yeah,
And there's
Cerulean
specific
Cave.
cheats. Do you remember there's this specific
To get
cheats?
there early.
No, like there's this cheats that you can exploit in that dungeon where you can get just 99 of every single items. You get 99 rare candies.
No, that's not that. That's
It has to be. I think it's a dungeon. It happens in a dungeon.
it's Missing No on Cinnabar Island coast. The coast
Was
of
it?
Cinnabar Island.
So yeah, but it's
You
in
can
a
do
dungeon.
that.
It's in the dungeon,
It's
right?
not no.
Oh, I don't remember, but I
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the cheat that definitely exists.
There's also a cheat in Pokemon because they took away the duplication in Pokemon Gold,
yeah.
right? But there's actually a way to do it. What you'd have to do is you'd have to save your Pokemon holding an item, let's say rare candy, right?
Yeah.
And you transfer them to another box. And when it's saving, because they used to save when transferring through boxes,
Yeah.
you turn it off, and then when you turn it on, you'll have a duplicate of the Pokemon holding the item. So you could essentially get
Right. Yeah. I remember that.
right?
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
have like 12 Typhlosions holding 12 rare candies, and I'd have to release them all into the wild. So just imagine the reality of that, the Poke reality
What other
of that.
favorite memories?
I did
First
take a break.
Pokemon, the first Pokemon movie when that came out.
It was so sad.
The Mewtwo, Mew and Mewtwo.
Mew and Mewtwo.
Yeah, I remember just went to the movie just specifically for the limited edition.
I went
Pokemon
to
card.
the cinema to see quite a few Pokemon movies.
I think the second movie was the last one that I went to the cinema
Mewtwo
for.
Strikes Back or Mewtwo Returns or something like
I
that.
don't remember. There's so many movies now, but yeah, I remember just went to the movie theater and people just all like the ushers at the movie theater.
Yeah.
They were just handing out the
Pokemon cards, yeah.
Yeah, I went there just specifically for that. Yeah, I collected Pokemon cards as well. Never got a shiny Charizard, which that's
Do you
my
want?
biggest-
Did I ever tell you my worst trade?
What?
My worst trade. I didn't play a lot of Pokemon cards, but I got duped out of a card.
Wait, like play as in
The
battling?
card, the cards.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I used to collect the cards like you, but not much.
No.
And my favorite card was a Charmeleon. I thought it was so rare. My rarest card was a Dragonair, but I don't know what happened to that. It was a
Yeah.
shiny Dragonair.
Yeah.
But the last day of school, grade 4, grade 3, I went up to this kid and I thought the colorless energy was so cool
Yeah.
that I had traded him my Charmeleon for a colorless energy. And when I was on the bus, it just suddenly clicked.
What's the colors in it? Like normal
Normal
energy card?
energy, yeah.
Like white card,
White,
right?
like
okay.
for Rattata. I was just so frustrated with myself that I would do something so stupid.
My God.
And I didn't even see him the following year, and it's clearly still on my mind because I still remember
I
it.
remember just back in those days where people would hold not garage sale, but like yard sales, and
Same thing, yeah.
they would have like a stand set up, and it's like, you know, Pokemon cards, you know, little plastic bags or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I remember one day I almost purchased a Venomoth card for $40.
They got pricey.
Yeah.
It was all the rage.
Yeah. It was like 40, 50, and $60. But for a kid, I was like, that's the greatest thing ever. Even though it's just a piece of paper. But I was like, holy shit, I'm going crazy for it. And thankfully my dad did drag me away.
He's like, I'm not spending $40.
Yeah,
with inflation.
Which,
move
you know,
the number
he did the
over.
right thing. He did the right thing. So that's one of my favorite. And yeah, I mean, when Pokemon first became really popular, I was 10 years old. I moved to Canada when I was 9, so during that year, I really didn't speak a word of English. But for some reason, I could remember, because I would just come home each day after school and watch Pokemon on TV. And this is how I actually learned English, to be honest. Not just watching Pokemon, just watching TV in general. Because there's no subtitles. There's no Chinese
Thank
subtitles.
goodness you said that.
There's no Chinese subtitles. It was like, there's no subtitles and it's people just speaking English. And for some reason, I could not remember anything else, like, you know, in school, because everything else is English. But for some reason, I could remember like the entire set of first generation Pokemon. Yeah, like Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, like I could just remember every single, but I can't remember anything else.
That should be part of our new Canadian
exactly.
immigrant English learning program.
That should be a new alphabet.
Right?
That should be a new alphabet. That's
150 Pokemon letters.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, obviously, you know, I have a huge emotional attachment to the whole franchise. You know, just that entire
Me too.
universe.
I think a lot of people our age has.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like, it hasn't slowed down or anything. People are still going crazy for it. You know, it's just, yeah, it's insane.
It is huge.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll die in a long time.
Yeah.
But I think the mascot is not going to be do you think the mascot's going to stay as Pikachu forever and ever?
I think so.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I like
Because
Pikachu.
it's that just proves that it's not ever
Have-
going to have the same
have
experience.
you played Pokemon Yellow?
Of course I played Pokemon Yellow.
Have you ever tried like involving Pikachu with a Thunderstone?
No, never. I have actually. I know what happens.
What happens?
He doesn't follow you anymore.
But does he disappear? Does he get inside a ball or something?
Yeah, he gets inside a ball.
So he's just gone for
He's
the rest
gone.
of it.
He's
for
gone
the rest of the game.
for the rest of the game. He's gone.
Okay, thankfully I didn't try that because I was so curious, but I was never. It's like,
It's been
for some reason,
it's been like a decade since I played it, but I'm pretty sure that's my memory of it.
Okay.
Don't evolve Pikachu in Pokemon Yellow with your
because I'm just so afraid. I have a
Thunderstone.
huge emotional attachment to Pikachu. It's like I'm so
Pikachu's
curious to do
actually
it.
been on the diet. He's gotten thinner and thinner as the generations of
By the way,
Pokemon.
have you noticed that's the only Pokemon in the Pokemon X and Y with a proper Pokemon voiceover?
Pika.
Yeah, where you would say something like that. Yeah, exactly. You know.
Oh, yeah, where it's clear, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
where
otherwise it's on
Yeah, exactly.
weird noises.
All right.
Leave us your Pokemon impressions in the comment links below or videos to it so we can, I don't know. I just wanted to say
Yeah,
that.
leave your comments down below and don't forget to click, like and subscribe to our channel.